You're the reason why I am my way. You're the reason why I rip my shirts, why I eat at the buffet. Butter, you got your very own kind of nice. We all live inside a butter world. Oh, butter, butter. Gonna eat it by the stick tonight. Gonna eat out this world. Oh, butter. I'm about to take a bite, 'cause I want that salty cream. What I dream about all night. Butter dreaming. I'm about to take a bite, 'cause I want that salty cream. What I dream about all.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to a live stream with Butter Fueled. We have a great guest, Zack2024. He's joining us tonight. And we're gonna have a great conversation.
Excited to be here, guys. Nice to meet you. I've been following your stuff for a while, and thanks for having me on. It really is an honor for me.
Thanks for making the time. Really appreciate you coming on. This is going to be a great conversation. Anyone who's tuning in or listening to this later, I'm sure that they'll appreciate. Make sure you go follow Zack2024. They can find you pretty much on every platform.
Yeah, you can
He's a
find
cool guy.
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Zack2024 on all of them, and that is Zack with a K. Some people tell me they can't find me. They search with an H, the more popular way, but I am Zack.
Oh yeah, it's not Zack CH, it's Zack ZK.
Correct.
Nice.
Yeah. So Zack, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Just introduce yourself. You're obviously into the whole fitness thing, and I think you kind of align your nutrition style with keto, or however you want to describe it.
Yeah, of course. So a little bit about myself. Born and raised on the West Coast, actually, San Diego, California. Went on to play football at my dream school, which I'm very grateful for. That was the University of Southern California. And there is really where a lot of my fitness and nutrition journey began. I topped out at 293.2 pounds. I had to be a big strength athlete as I was a defensive lineman. But I was very into lifting, very into maximizing performance. And one day I read about this diet called the ketogenic diet. And just seeing the food choices on it, steak, eggs, butter, bacon, avocado, slip some carbs here and there. I was like, geez, you can do this and lose weight? It sounds too good to be true. So I thought, one day when my football career ends, I'm going to try and implement this and see if I can become a very lean and healthy individual. And that's exactly what happened. So I went on, did the whole keto thing, ended up losing 92 pounds and thought, I look great, but I'm way too skinny. I need to put some weight back on. So I've gone ahead and done that after that initial 92-pound weight loss. Present day, I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. I'm now based out of New York City and continuing my passion for fitness and nutrition here. As far as how I got into social media, I was just bored one day in 2020, started an account. It was anonymous at the time. I tweeted something at 6 a.m., headed to the gym to squat. Later that day, posted a picture of steak, and it just kind of grew from there.
Wow. 293 pounds. That's massive. I mean,
Yeah, an unstoppable force.
Yeah, unstoppable force.
It was a lot of work. It was hard to maintain, I'll tell you that.
Wow. And that's true, right? When you first hear about keto, same. It's like, oh, you can eat bacon and steak and eggs and not gain weight or lose weight and be healthy. Definitely caught my attention.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it was hard in the beginning. First 5 weeks, I had to tell myself, hey, just wait till you break through to the other side. And I remember one day sitting at my desk at work, I had this thought that this feeling actually that I can still think to and remember, have flashbacks to, where I just all of a sudden had this laser focus and my energy felt amazing. And I'm like, I'm there. I think I made it. and it's just continued on since then. And so I've continued to eat low carb, keto, animal food based, and continue to feel great. And it's a way, I figured I'm probably lucky, blessed, predisposition to eat this way, but it works so well for me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Sorry,
Fantastic. Love to hear it.
you're just gonna show up this comment from Frank. Zach, been following you since forever. Always enjoy your food posts next to the skyline of buildings.
Frank, appreciate that comment, man. Means a lot. I love having a pretty nice view to look at. Feel very blessed, and glad you enjoy the post. So I'll keep them up for you, Frank.
That's a signature Zach post, right? The skyline and the steaks. It's good.
Yeah, he even made a T-shirt from it. It's
Oh
the
yeah,
best.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I posted a picture of like a late lunch. It was like 4:30 p.m. on a Friday or something, and all of a sudden it went viral and created a lot of controversy. Twitter put a warning on it. I was told it was the first ever warning on a food post, and that was crazy. So I thought, it'd be funny. I'll put it on a T-shirt, and I did that, and then that kind of blew up too. And people started asking me for the shirt, so I had to figure out how do I get this online so it can get like shipped to people and stuff. I've never set anything up like that. So now I rock it from time to time.
Wow. Who knew that just food would generate so much controversy or so much attention?
Yeah.
And something so staple to that. Well, I mean, for us, it's now like pretty staple. It's like that food. But for other people, I guess it's not donuts. So what's going on there?
I mean, I think there's a lot of misconception about what's healthy and what's not. And I mean, it's reasonable for people to not be, informed or think the same way that I do. Not to say that I'm more well informed than everybody else out there, because we all have our own methodology that works for us. But things have been pounded into our heads, year after year after year, and then a lot of times that information is from study that are funded by big food, so they're not exactly the most truthful of studies. But that said, I figured out a way of eating that works for me, that keeps me healthy, and I don't advise people to try and emulate a 6'5" active lifter, former football player, getting 15 to 20,000 steps a day. Because I'm different than a lot of people, so doing things the exact way that I do them, it isn't going to fare well for everybody. I like to make note of that, because a lot of people will take my posts too literal, or see something that I'm not saying, which is, I recommend everybody eat this way, which I never have. I'd give insight to the way I eat. If people want to consult with me because they want to craft a diet maybe similar in food selection to me, I'll make the recommendation there, because that's what they're aiming to do. But as far as what I do when I go online, it's really just insight into the way that I eat.
Love it. That's a great point. Obviously, everyone kind of crafts their own food, something they can adhere to, and they adhere to it because it tastes good. It allows them to perform good, and it's allows you to stay healthy. So you've managed to do that, and that's a good point. People shouldn't try to copy your diet. Like for you're 6'5", which is pretty much giant status. So I'm sure you eat a lot, and if people try to eat that, it would be pretty hard.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's important to highlight how there's always just a lot of variability depending on the individual. No two people are the same, right? Everyone's going to be different, just not like physically speaking, but also in terms of their activity, what they're doing on the daily basis, right? So it's really good that you highlight that. But speaking of what you advise to people or not, so we recently announced you're a running candidate for the Prohibitionist Party. What led you to make this decision?
So actually, I don't speak too much on politics. It's a very unfriendly world sometimes. But of course, now I've opened up a little bit on it, and I'm keeping a laser focus on the health of the individual of this nation. But what really, kind of led me into this, to rewind a while back, I was never a fan of registering with any of the two major parties. So I never have been registered with either party. I had originally registered as an independent voter, and I did some research and I saw that the Prohibitionist Party was actually still active. They are America's oldest active third party, and so it was actually over a decade ago that I went on in and registered with them. I liked their message of helping people to reduce and quit alcohol consumption, because there are a lot of benefits associated with that. To touch on the Prohibitionist Party, if you've never heard of it, they're founded in 1869. And from 1920 to 1933, the United States did successfully enact prohibition, which banned the commercial sale and production of alcohol via the 18th Amendment. It ended with the 21st Amendment, which repealed that 18th Amendment, and the party has not been as popular since. Last time they received 10,000 votes was in 1976. And so my goal is to go ahead and be the first candidate since 1976 to go ahead and surpass that 10,000 vote mark. Of course, ultimate goal above that is to win the presidency. I know the powers that be will rig it against me if my votes, start to tally up there, but I'll go ahead and do my best. And really, I do want to let people know that we are not a one-issue party trying to force everybody to immediately go out and quit alcohol. Put back in laws immediately that's going to take over everything, or at least with myself. I understand that running on some grandiose platform isn't going to work, where we're going to have 500 different objectives and spread ourselves thin. So I want to have a laser focus, and that is on improving the health of the individual, of Americans, and the world for that matter. If I can have a platform where I can spread my voice globally. So that's fitness, that's nutrition, that's helping people to reduce and quit their consumption of alcohol or other substances that have a negative impact on their life. The reason I'm saying, I don't want to go out there and, be forceful with people is that we know that doesn't work. We need to lead people to the decision themselves that they want to reduce and ultimately quit their consumption. Just like with fitness, they say it's not about, thinking of the whole workout all at once on the days that you don't want to go. Just show up to the gym, do a warm-up set, get under the bar. Now that you're there, that's going to lead you towards that decision to go ahead and make the ultimate decision to finish your workout and do the best you can. Same here. If I can help people to reduce their consumption of not just alcohol, but perhaps they're overprescribed pharmaceuticals, perhaps they're eating a lot of ultra-processed food. If I can lead them to think about that differently, get them on the right track and make them feel good, and they're feeling better mentally, physically, then I believe they'll make that decision for themselves to keep pursuing the reduced consumption of substances that are inhibiting an optimal lifestyle, and ultimately be healthier. So I know that was a bit wordy, but that's where the Prohibitionist Party is, how I joined, and how I am trying to lead this nation to better health.
Yeah.
Right on, man. We absolutely love everything you're saying. And I think, hopefully, I think it's very achievable to surpass that mark, in this 10,000 votes. We're definitely rooting for you, because we think, everything you said resonates with us and our mission. And we appreciate that you're, undertaking this massive challenge, right, with this laser focus on health. When you're advocating for meat and eggs, not necessarily even like a carnivore or a keto diet, but just, eat more meat, eat more eggs. You already, you get so much pushback, right? Like you gotta become well educated about what that means, and, just all the talking points against it. And, the fact that you're taking that even a step further into politics, I think it's just it's a great mission, and we commend you for it. And we definitely want to see you succeed, man. Definitely want to see you succeed, because America is the fattest we've ever been. We're the most obese. Like you could argue. Well, I think it's pretty fair to say the real pandemic is like obesity and diabetes and mental illness. right?
Mhm.
People are being overprescribed, like you mentioned. Prescriptions, never, the doctors are never unprescribing, right? Never taking people off medications. It's more like this, subscription based model. People just get aboard and then they never come off, right? And there's no talk, or the narrative never mentions how the individual actually has power to divorce themselves from this system through lifestyle changes, right?
Correct.
So how do you think we can combat this, right? I mean, obviously you mentioned uh, going to the gym, eating right, but how how do you not how do you start shifting the conversation and convincing people that this is the way to go?
So, people need to be properly educated on fitness and nutrition, whether that's resistance training, cardio. Even though I don't like cardio, there are, of course, a ton of benefits to it. Body weight training, um, removing refined carbs and sugars from their diet. So, the first step in this whole giant mission is just proper education. And in that education, they need to see results. They need to see people like you guys. They need to see people like myself. They need to see people who were once diabetic and decided, hey, you know what? I am on this subscription-based model of pills. They're telling me I'm going to have to take my entire life. Who decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go on a whole foods, natural type diet, lost the weight, and got off of those pills. If we can, lead by providing examples through education, I think that's really what's going to get people to go ahead and try things for themselves. I think a lot of people are scared to change their lifestyle. I mean, if I were to all of a sudden find out that I should be eating some high carb diet and I should, exchange the weightlifting that I'm doing for, some kind of higher volume, lighter weight type deal that I don't do very much, I'd be scared to make that change too, because I'm used to doing things such a certain way. So we need to show people, like I said, through proper education. And we can't be forcing people. We can't be telling people this is what they need to do. We can't be telling people Zach's way is the only way. Butterfield way is the only way. We need to show them there's multiple options in eating a whole foods natural diet. There's multiple options to exercise. Show them those results. Just get people to start thinking about taking that first step. Challenge themselves to go to the gym for a week, because that's going to lead to 2 weeks, to 3 weeks. Challenge people. Hey, let's cut out dessert one day a week from your routine and see how you feel. Let's encourage people to remove alcohol for a week, see how great they feel. Like, how many times I've seen in the last month right now on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, people saying that they quit alcohol and how great they felt, and they're going to continue to do that. There seems to be some massive movement right now. I don't know what spurred it. Maybe people were drinking too much at home during COVID, but there's just this mass movement of people that decided to just give it up and see how they felt, and they felt amazing, and now they are continuing with that. So if we can get more people into this state of mind that, hey, you know what, I'm going to live my best life, and I'm going to make this small change that's not going to take much effort, that's going to snowball, and it's going to lead to huge changes. One person does it, his friend sees it, his coworker sees it, his spouse sees it, they do it. And, there's just so much potential, but there's too much, my way is the way, this is the way. There's too much, bad education out there. There's too much information overload. Like my whole thing is keeping things very simple. My lifting guide is simple. My keto guide is simple. Running for president of the United States, my message is simple. Like I said, no grandiose platform. Let's focus on one thing where we can actually have an impact. So that's what I think we need to do.
I think that's great. I mean, yeah, just keep it simple. It's what's most effective. It's what, you can't force people, right? People have free will. They're going to do whatever they want. But yeah, as you said, you got to show them, this is what it looks like. And it's this easy to do. And it's this simple to follow. If you want to do it, let's do it. Right. But yeah, people have to be educated about it first, which means kind of reverting all the prior education about meat being bad, cholesterol being bad, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So it's quite a bit of work, but I love it. It has to be done. Has to be done anyways.
It does. And, to speak to simple changes, anybody out there listening, thinking, what simple change can I make? You go out to a restaurant, popular, dish, just burger and fries, something simple, right? You can get that burger without the bun. You still have all the good stuff in there. All the nutrients from the meat, cheese, lettuce if you like it. I'll eat the lettuce there. And you can replace that side of fries with a side of vegetables. It still tastes good. Put some ranch dressing, salt, whatever on it. Now you've made two simple modifications to that meal. It still is going to taste amazing. And, it can snowball from there. And that's something I've actually coached up a lot of people to do when I work on them implementing their keto diet. So, Zach, I'm going to go to this restaurant. What can I do? We look at the menu in advance, make those simple changes, and then it's something, hey, that was easy. And they continue to do it, over the course of us training and over after the course of us training.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's a pretty good tip. Yeah, the boneless burger. Get people in the habit of asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are just used to, give me this in the menu and that's it. But you can ask, and it can be done.
And you don't necessarily have to go carnivore or go low carb. We want to remove a lot of these refined carbs, or we want to remove excessive carbs. That's where a lot of the problem lies as well. I love keto. I love meat based. I know you guys love carnivore. A lot of people love it. I'm not bashing on anything, but we need more whole natural foods. So like I said, people don't have to go keto. They don't have to go low carb. They have to go lower carb.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, by going lower carb, they're going to have to substitute something else in, right? And, whether that's vegetables or more meat, it's still going to be a net benefit. But totally agree with you there. And, it's important that I really like how you mentioned about you have to show people the results, right? There's many people who've effectively reverted like type 2 diabetes just with a nutritional intervention and things like that. So I think the more stories of people like that we can get out there, that's what's actually going to help drive the needle when it comes to changing people's minds. Come at it like from a results first approach, right? So I like that. I like that information. I like that tip.
Yeah.
So you spoke about the Prohibitionist Party. On your website you have 3 words: freedom, unity, and health. What do those words mean to you? How do freedom and unity come together with health?
So I think those are 3, important pillars of this country and ones that we need to build on. So start with freedom, America, land of the free, home of the brave. We need to continue to be, a free country. And I think being free, it's not just regarding laws and regulations and the freedom to say things you want, but I think that ties well into health, to have the freedom to not just have a long lifespan, but a long health span, to have the freedom to be off of different pills and pharmaceuticals, to have the freedom to feel your best. I know some people are going to say, well, Zach, freedom, the Prohibitionist Party talks about taking away alcohol. If you look at what happened when Prohibition was originally enacted, they made it illegal for the commercial production and the sale of alcohol. The federal law did not make it illegal to produce your own alcohol in private and drink, at your own home, private property, as they did believe in those individual freedoms. So I'm not, looking to take away people. The party is not looking to take away people's freedoms with their thoughts on prohibition. And I want to ask people, do you really feel free when you're constantly under the influence of alcohol? You can't go out and drive. You can't have an intelligent conversation if you've imbibed too much. You're limiting your health there. I don't really think the consumption of alcohol is making people free. Unity. We need to be united as a nation. People argue too much whether they don't like what I eat. They don't like my mustache. Politics. People don't like each other because they're in different political parties. When it should be, hey, you're in party A, you're in party B. We each have the same goal at the top, but we have different means to get there. Rather than all this hate that's going around. One of the things that I'm really trying to implement hard in my campaign for president of the United States is I'm not going to go out there slinging mud at any of opponents. I'm not going to focus on them. I'm going to focus on myself and what I can do positively, because I don't care what the other people are doing. They can do what they want. I'm going to be positive here. We really need to be united as a country and respect each other and realize that we all want the best for the entire nation, even if we think there are different means to get there. And for health, I want a healthier, fitter, better America. I want people to be able to play with their grandchildren without getting, out of breath. I want people to not have to worry about, as I get older, I'm going to become unhealthy and I'm going to go bankrupt because of medical bills. I want people to not feel that they're going to have to bring in family members to take care of them because they're sick because of personal choices of eating things that they were always told to eat, growing up. If we can have a healthier and fitter America, people are going to be a lot happier. People are going to be feeling better mentally. People are going to be feeling better physically. People aren't going to have those sky high medical bills. People can get rid of a lot of these worries that they have and focus on things that are important to them, whether that's playing sports recreationally or traveling, or as I said, spending time with your grandchildren, or overall just feeling better. I want people to feel better. I want people to be happy. I want people to be healthy.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, yeah, freedom. You can't. Obviously, you're not trying to take away people's freedoms, right? People still have the freedom of choice, their free will. It's just increased awareness of, you know, are you really free when you're intoxicated? That's a good point, right? If you drink too much, you're sacrificing your next day too, right? That's sounds restrictive to me. I personally don't drink much. I'm only like in social situations, and these are pretty rare, where I'm like having a drink, only because I know it's gonna take away time, and recovery is gonna impact my gym performance, my workout, the next day. So I like the message. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because you mentioned before there actually does seem to be like a trend towards quitting drinking, from what at least from what we've seen online. And so it's great to see, and to just feed that momentum, right? Because it's people making positive changes in their life, getting rid of dependency. And again, there's always people who can uh, who do well balancing a lifestyle. There's people who do well, for example, moderating sweets. In my case, I tend to do better when I stay away from them. Even when I have like a little bite here and there, it tends to just like throw me off, like the next few days, just in terms of like cravings and hunger. So I'm personally better as an abstainer. But even though some people just don't seem to have that problem, and it's important that people understand that about themselves too, right? How they operate. But we definitely, your message definitely resonates a lot, in the sense that people are sick, and if we could focus on health, if we could have the first actually healthy looking president of the United States, I think that would be huge, because you look at the previous cases we've had, they're not exactly great examples of prime health, right? For many different reasons. We don't have to get into it, but I think it speaks a lot to the state of the country, right? And if we could have an actual jacked president, someone who with a six pack in the in the White House, I think that would just send, like, children would have a role model to look up to. You know what I mean? Like, I think like that would just put America at the top. Imagine like a jacked president shaking hands with all the other world leaders. It'd be intimidating, man.
Yeah,
It'd
I'd
be
love
a
it.
huge presence.
I'd love to, have people, have somebody, whether it be me or somebody else, that they could look up to as an example, somebody that's going to be, in the eye of the public a lot, setting that good example, hopefully leading people to that healthier lifestyle. And that goes back to my point earlier, that part of educating people is showing people. So if people can see an individual, whether it's an athlete, a political leader, their favorite actor, their favorite YouTuber, who's in good shape, and learn more about their healthy protocols, it's really going to lead people into making healthy decisions for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
One of the messages we like to repeat on our page, and again, it's a carnivore animal based advocacy page. of course. But one of the messages we like to repeat over and over again is, imagine if the whole world just ate steak and eggs for a whole year and they shut off the noise. We make the claim that everyone would regain their sanity back and then all of our problems would be fixed.
I really think that's true. I mean, first of all, steak and eggs is amazing, so everyone's going to be happy eating all that. But yeah, it would eliminate so many health problems, and people would have something that they could all share in common. And yeah, I really do think that would solve a lot of problems. So I like that take.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do we get more people to eat more steak and eggs, Zach?
We got to show them the way, show them the results. And it doesn't have to be, hey, go ahead and eat 2 pounds of steak and a giant piece of butter and, 6 eggs. It could be, hey, you like to have some rice and broccoli and chicken breast. So I guess that's a bro meal. But let's say, some other unhealthy meal. Let's replace a bit of those. Maybe you have something with that you microwave with ultra processed carbs. Maybe have half of what you normally have and replace that with some lean chicken or fish, or replace it with some red meat, and just slowly move people on over to realizing and accepting that red meat and eggs are not the monster that they've been made out to be. That we've been, as a country, blaming the refined carbohydrate or blaming the meat for what the refined carbohydrates and refined sugar has been doing. So, encourage people to just make that little change, to eat that little bit more of red meat, not on top of what they're eating, but replace something unhealthy with it. So that way, I think people will do that. They'll start feeling better. They'll start looking better. The more people that do it, the more traction it'll gain. Hey, my friend Joe over there has been eating that way. My mom's been eating that way, and they're doing better. So maybe there is something to this. I've had a lot of people who have reached out to me that, hey, I have this misconception of red meat and just decided for a couple of weeks to try it because I saw your page and I saw some other people that commented all looking healthy. And, I fit into my high school jeans again, or, this is the least I've weighed in 5 years, or I put on some muscle. So just showing people the way, showing people the results, and getting them to try it by not taking an extreme measure there, whether that's having steak and eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, once a week, or just replacing some other foods with it. I think ultimately gets people to eating more of it. And
Yeah.
eggs, we need to lower the cost of eggs. So I just wanted to touch on that as well. I know the avian flu has made the price of eggs go up, so we need to help put in measures that will reduce anything like that happening in the future. Make eggs easily, affordable. You could argue they still are easily affordable, but it is hard to go buy something when you see the price has been tripled. We need to make sure we keep the price of eggs down so people can eat more eggs.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, absolutely. Get more eggs, make them more accessible, increase the supply. Obviously, avoid any potential diseases that may be caused by the supply chain. Um, yeah, I love it. More eggs.
Absolutely, more eggs. We need an egg-backed currency. Maybe when the Fed prints all the dollars away. Yeah.
Oscar Guevara says another podcast, another source of great information. Thanks, Oscar. Thanks for tuning in.
Appreciate you, Oscar. These guys are great.
Yeah. Are you worried that you might become a political target from like these big corporations, or let's just call them, the big interests, right? That I'm sure you're very well aware that there's many different interests trying to push a particular agenda when it comes to nutrition. Whether that's academia or the media or even the government with their guidelines. Pushing for these heavy, saying things like Cheerios are healthier than beef or eggs. Do you give that any thought, or do you think that that worries you?
It doesn't worry me. The corporation should be worried of me. So do I think I could become a political target? Of course. But they're the ones who should be worried. I have a message to spread. I have receipts to show it and to fight them. I have all the confidence in the world. So no worries on my end.
Absolutely. I mean, truth is on your side, so it always prevails. Uh,
Fantastic. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. We shouldn't be afraid, right? And that's why we need to make this grassroots movement, right? We need people to go out there and be vocal and share these kind of episodes on social media to get your voice out there. Um, Zach, can you tell us a bit about how the presidential nomination process works? Because I understand you're running for the nomination of your party. So how do we get you? How do we help you to win that?
Correct. So, the political parties, they have their primaries in which they use to go ahead and select who is going to represent their party on the ballot of the United States of America in the presidential election. Our party, being smaller than these major ones, we do have a committee of individuals who will be in the next few months going ahead and selecting who is going to be our representative for president of the United States, and we will be on the ballot in a handful of countries. So the chosen nominee will be listed. So look out for it in your state. In order to help me win my party's nomination, the best thing to do is to get people's support in the eyes of the committee and the people in our party. Our party is pretty active on Facebook in comparison to other platforms. It's called Prohibition Party Official Facebook Group. Anybody can go on in and join. If you're having trouble, feel free to contact me so I can make sure that you are let on in. And just posting on that page that you support me as the nominee for president for the Prohibition Party. People have been going on and making those posts, and the executive committee is seeing those posts. And so the more of them that we get, the more it will help them have confidence that I'm the guy to go ahead and help spread our message and get our party back in the eye of the public. And I think part of the sad thing is that a lot of the public doesn't even know that we still exist. Yet we're mentioned in the history books in all the American history classes because we used to be so prominent and have such a big impact on the United States of America. People need to know that we exist. So having thousands and thousands of followers on social media is great and helps me get my message out there. So in combination with the message I'm able to spread to my current platform, I do need that support on the Facebook page so they can see that I have the backing of people, and the people are willing to go into our group there and let people know how much they support me.
nice. So very active on Facebook. Seems to be like that. That's their main social media platform.
Correct.
Nice.
So basically, when it comes to the winning the nomination, it's down to the committee that selects the candidate, and they'll base that just pretty much based off of like social media noise, how much noise you can generate for now.
So it'll be more than noise generated on social media. I think that's what I have going for me, is that I'm able to get my message out better than anybody who's running against me. But in conjunction with that, I want people to see not only that I have people that follow me, but I have people that support me in my mission to run for president of the United States. And I do want to touch on that as well. And I've tweeted about it and I put it on Instagram, that even though in a literal sense I am the one running for president, it's because we have to have a name on there. Really, the way that I view it is that we are running for president together. We are trying to get this message out there. There's a lot more than just me. There's a lot of people that want the healthier, happier America. So we need to band together, and we need to run, and we need to get this done.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, right? It's you're a representative, right? You represent the people. You would represent the people's choice. People forget that. People think that, oh, we're just electing someone and then we hope this person aligns with our values. And no, uh, it, basically, yeah, people are choosing themselves when they see you.
Correct. And I'll be that shield for them. So that way, I'll take the hits to the reputation. I'll take the hard questions. As long as I have their support. Like I said, it's us that'll be running, but I'll be there. I'll be the shield.
Nice. Man,
Okay,
that takes a lot of guts.
yeah. So what is the timeline we're looking at? Like, because 2024 is right around the corner. Um, by when do the parties pick their candidates?
So we have about 3 months
Okay.
until we're going to pick. So 3 months to get my message out there as much as I can, and hopefully generate enough support and confidence in people that I can be the guy to make that impact.
Amazing, amazing. So, and just out of curiosity, do we know the candidates for the other parties yet? Like, has that been made publicly available or not really?
Well, I would assume for the Democrats, they'll go ahead and continue on with Joe Biden. Um, I don't know who will win for the Republicans. I keep the news turned off. I don't really go on news sites. And then for all the other parties, the only other person I'm really focused on is myself. What everybody else does, it doesn't matter. So I'm focused on spreading my message, getting that support, and I think my time's best spent there. Rather than understanding what other people are doing. I'm not trying to strategically insult anybody. I'm not trying to undermine anybody. Politics has become too much of talking crap on the other guy. I'm focusing on us and our positive message.
Wow. Yeah. If more people took that approach in life, instead of undermining, kind of just promoting your own values, right? Which are actually very positive, right? You're selling your values,
Yeah,
right? So um, that's good.
yeah, exactly. And I just want to highlight that, Zach, again, we followed him for quite a while, but his demeanor on social media, when he gets attacked, when he gets the trolls, when he gets, bad comments here and there, and the negativity is everywhere on social media. Zach always has like the best responses, just the calmest demeanor, always wishing other people well, wishing them great health and success. And I'll even say, like, me personally, I've tried to like take some of the that abundance and positivity onto our page too, because the trolls will never stop, the negativity will always be there. But the way Zach handles that is I think it's one of the best ways I've seen it handled by anyone on social media. And this was way before he ever announced he was running for everything. So again, I just think that just speaks great volumes about your character, right? And if you're watching or listening to this, like, you're seeing it reflected right here, live. So we gotta get behind this man. We gotta get him to the White House, guys.
I appreciate you. That means a lot. A lot of negativity out there, and I try and look at it as crude oil that I can refine into a clean energy and turn into positivity out there, and ultimately use that negative energy as a positive force and make a positive impact on other people's lives.
Nice. Yeah, like jujitsu or something like that on the negative energy. Um, but yeah, man, it's like, yeah, social media is so easy to get drawn into like the negativity. So it's such a valuable skill. I guess you could say like your social media experience is training grounds to kind of deal with all this backlash, all this negative energy, which there's no shortage of, but just more practice.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. Actually, someone saying that they've never seen somebody get so much hate for just posting insight into their fitness and nutrition. And I said, I feel blessed for all of it because it has prepared me well for politics or other situations I may run into in my life. So there's really a silver lining to anything out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So Zach, you obviously you live in New York City. You do nutrition and fitness consulting. You help out people. You've launched some programs. Um, well, like, you've worked directly with people, helping them on their nutrition journey. Well, in your experience, what have you found is like the number one thing holding people back?
So I think some people just don't want it enough for whatever reason. A lot of it could be because they're scared of change. You know, I've worked with some people who they want to kind of put their toe in the water, get into it, but then they just don't have that willpower, that desire. Where, you know, I'll ask them, send me what you tracked this week. Okay, you didn't track 3 days. Oh well, I was out with friends for the first time in a while, a birthday party, this and that. Okay, life happens. It's like, you know, we'll keep calm and move on to next week. And the same thing happens over and over. And you realize, you know, people just aren't wanting it bad enough. So I don't know if that's them just being too scared to do it, or they're too comfortable, I guess. You know, people get too comfortable in their lifestyle, and this is fine. I'll jump that hurdle later. I'll jump that hurdle later. You get to a point where you can't jump that hurdle. You know, you're on medication, and then you become comfortable in the same. All right, we're back. Sorry about that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was laggy there for a little bit.
the PowerShell on my Windows popped up, and a bunch of windows, and hopefully not some hackers. Maybe I'm under political attack already. But
Oh no.
it's comfort and fear. So, you know, sorry, it took me a while to get to that. The people are just too comfortable and too complacent. Where, you know, you see a lot of these success stories where somebody hit rock bottom, and that's where they couldn't be comfortable anymore because it became a life or death decision. Or, you know, oh crap, I cannot, you know, go any further down this path. So, and I understand that, you know, in modern day society where we're so coddled, everything's so convenient, you can pick up your phone and have food to you instantly, clothes to you instantly, whatever you want. So if we can get people to get outside of their comfort zone, and we can get people to get rid of that fear, or even if we can't get rid of that fear, get them, you know, that attitude, just, you know, I'm going to be a go-getter, I'm going to get after it. What's to be afraid of? Then we can make a positive impact. And I think that has a, you know, I think we have the power to help people, you know, get over fear or face by being encouraging. So that's, you know, that's.
Oh, it's lagging a little bit too right now.
Yeah, we're losing Zach for a little bit,
Yeah.
but I'm good. I'm good though, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um,
San Salvador Wi-Fi beats New York City. No.
oh,
Oh man, yeah. Looks like he.
hopefully we didn't lose him completely.
Yeah. Hopefully his device didn't like suddenly die.
Yeah.
But yeah. What are the two things? Comfort and fear.
Comfort
Fear and
and
comfort.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Both of them.
definitely. Yeah. I mean, if you look at society today, everything's like set up to just and he dropped out. So
Yeah, I
keep an
guess
eye out if he comes back in.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it looks like we did really lose him.
Yeah. Comfort and fear, man. The number one killer, comfort. You know, you give a man a full tummy.
The computer
and some-
disconnected me. I came back in on my phone here. Yeah, it looks like we got the deep state after me already. But telling you, deep state, y'all should be worried of me.
Yeah, they know a threat
That's
when
right.
they know a threat is coming.
Man, absolutely. We're already under attack.
But
Yeah.
I'm back.
Quick comment here.
Yeah.
Space auctions. So much confusing info on eggs and red meat and cholesterol. And yeah, it's on purpose, right? One day eggs are good, the other day eggs are bad, and they just keep doing that, right? Confuse people.
Yep, exactly. And that's our point we were speaking about earlier, that there's these studies that are funded by these big corporations. There are studies funded by people who have, you know, conflicting interests, and they want to tell us that eggs and red meat are bad. So, you know, eggs, prime example, there's the cereal companies who are funding those studies, that they're bad for your cholesterol. So when we see these conflicting studies and this confusing information, I say, hey, you know what? Let's go look at some of the anecdotes out there. Let's go look at some of the people that eat steak and eggs and see what's going on with their life. Let's see how healthy they are. Not just if you see one or two people doing something doesn't mean, oh, I should do this because one or two people did it. But all of a sudden you see thousands and thousands of people who are living healthily and improve their health. All right, now I think it's time to take action.
despite what the studies tell you. And that goes for a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. That's the power of observation, right? How are people responding to this? How are, you know, the low carb movement, the carnivore movement, keto movement? It's been going on for a few years now. So now we have, actually some volume of people eating this way, getting healthy, reversing their type 2 diabetes, reversing their obesity, eating these types of foods. And we don't live in a world where you reverse those diseases and you increase your chance of getting more disease, right? You reverse disease and now you're healthy and that's it. You're not jumping from one disease, getting healthy, and then secretly getting more disease in another area. We don't live in paradoxical worlds. You get
Exactly.
healthy and that's it.
Yeah, you were mentioning Zach.
Yeah.
Sorry, is there a way you can turn your phone like horizontally, maybe? Because I think the mic is being blocked.
Let's see if I hold it here. Can you hear me more clearly?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll hold it like this then.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So to the things you mentioned, comfort and fear. I definitely see that taking place around. You give a man like TV and a full tummy, maybe some beer, and ambition has been destroyed. Right? There's no need to go out there and improve yourself or like put yourself through hardship. So those are, I think those are two really big issues that we have to address like on a behavioral front, right? But then definitely coming at it from a results approach should help people, should help move that needle across the population, and trying to cut through the confusion. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of people, it might decide, I'm gonna get healthier, but they take no action on it. You know what? I'm gonna have that ice cream and that pizza and that beer tonight because I can start tomorrow. You get to a point, tomorrow's too late. So if we can get people to make that decision today, rather than tomorrow, how do we do that? That's a big question, and that's hard for a lot of people to figure out. But goes back to the beginning of the show. We got to show people the light and get them inspired to take that change, because once they do, your mind's a powerful force, and once people start feeling better, those changes will become permanent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's a time thing, right? Time runs out eventually. So people need to be aware that time is short. There's no time like today. But some people want to keep the pizzas. Space auctions. Thanks for bringing the awareness, guys.
Appreciate your space.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, man. That's why we do what we do. We've got to cut through the lies. Hopefully inspire some people. So Zach, tell us a bit about your fitness goals. I mean, anyone can see you're obviously, something that most people don't. You seem to have stuff pretty much figured out at this point. Like, are you looking to put on more weight, go in a bulk, or you're just trying to get more ripped? Is this more just like you're just like cruising now, just maintaining? What does this look like for you?
So, back when I was a football player, I was a strength athlete as a defensive lineman. My fitness goals were to be as big and strong as possible. Now, some people would say, hey, why do you want to be as big as possible? Don't you just want that strength without the fat? But I was saying, hey, you know what? The guy on the other side of the line, he needs to move me around. So the bigger I am, the more that I weigh, the harder his job is. So I need that combined with strength. Then when I went on into my post-football life, it was, okay, since I've spent so much time being this big dude, let me get as lean as I possibly can. So like I said, I lost that 92 pounds and was super lean, looked great, but I could tell something was off and I was too lean. From there, I decided, hey, you know what? let me go ahead and start putting this muscle back on with the least amount of fat gain possible. And now I'm on the track where I wouldn't call it maintenance, but more like gainance, where I'm trying to become, stronger yet leaner. But I understand the closer you are to your genetic potential, the harder and harder that becomes. And you have to really be dialed in, which I have a lot of fun with. So for me, it's something where the challenge is it's a challenge that I enjoy. Over the last few years, I've noticed that, let's say, around 235 pounds every year, I'm a little bit leaner, yet a little bit stronger while weighing in the same weight. So I know that I'm on that right track there. So there are, certain times I'm like, hey, I'm going to prioritize strength, and I don't care if I put on a little bit of fat here. And when it gets to a point where I don't like the fat gain, then I'll cut it back. There are some times where I say, hey, you know what? I want to lean up a little bit, just challenge myself, make my six pack, a little bit more defined or whatnot. I'll do that. But overall, I'm in that maintenance or recomposition stage where I'm trying to be at a lower body fat percentage, yet have higher muscle mass year over year.
That's a good spot to be in. Where you're not particularly worried about being as shredded as you possibly can or being as big as you possibly can. You're more leaning towards size, and then if you feel like it's too much, you just start cutting back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a different sort of challenge, right? Like you said, challenge yourself to eating less, to bring out the abs. Um, it's a good challenge, but people need to see it too, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's all part of like leading by example.
Correct. And, I try and lead by example where, like I said before, I'm not recommending people, hey, do what I do, but I'm showing people what I do. So if they take, an interest, they can see somebody who does something that works. So, people will notice sometimes, hey, why are Zach's meals a little bit leaner? And they'll ask me questions about them. They'll notice when I'm putting a little bit more on my plate. So people can really, see what I do, see the results that I'm getting, and then hopefully are inspired to do their own research, come to their own conclusions, and start crafting their own plan to be their healthiest self.
100%. Maintenance. I like that.
I can't coin the term. I forget where I read it. I read it a couple of places. I didn't make it up, but I saw it years ago, and I'm like, I'm going to use this.
Yeah. So what does that look like for you? When you're fully dialed in. I mean, obviously, like you're on top of it. How do you structure your meals, or like how do you structure your workouts too?
So to start with meals, I've found that I do prefer eating keto most of the time. I'm not 100% carnivore. Some people might classify me as one, but I do keep my carbs pretty low, and most of my food is meat-based. I will find a lot of days, maybe sometimes even weeks, where I've actually ended up just eating carnivore because I like steak, eggs, and butter so much. But I do eat vegetables. I do eat avocados. I do like to have a strategic carb up every few weeks, and I like to have a tablespoon of maple syrup before I lift for those quick carbs that I'm going to burn off all during my lift, just for a little bit of explosiveness. But yeah, overall, you could call it cyclical keto, I guess there, and that's the way I like to eat. I would like to mention probably the leanest I ever got. I was doing cyclical keto where I wasn't eating as healthy as I am now, even though I was mainly eating natural foods. But every Sunday I'd with my wife to IHOP and just have a massive amount of pancakes to refuel. And then I was just going extremely intense in the gym, keto, tracking everything during the week. And yeah, back to now where I'm eating a lot healthier, even though I was healthy back then. My carb ups have been less frequent, but as I dial up intensity in the weight room, I won't wait months in between them like I've done previously. Moving on over to the way that I lift, generally, I'm actually only in the gym 3 times a week doing full body workouts, but those are pretty intense workouts. I've had clients who I've worked with who have done 4 days a week, and we've shifted to 3 days a week due to their schedule. And they said, man, you know what? I actually am feeling the intensity higher doing only 3 days a week here. And I think I'm getting more muscle growth because I'm just stimulating myself so much in in the gym doing this full body workout. And, if I'm lucky, which I'll post about from time to time, I'll be able to sneak in a fourth day where I like to just go have a little bit of fun, mainly work the pretty muscles, the buys, the tries, the abs, the traps, whatever. Maybe throw some calves in there and just kind of go in and be like, hey, I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing, be in, be out. But yeah, generally it's that low carb, animal protein based diet with a 3 day a week full body protocol, and that works great for my lifestyle and my goals. And I think I have the results to prove it.
Yeah, there is a lot of power in cycling, right? Cycling the calories, cycling your carbs. It is definitely like a pretty solid strategy. I used to do it a lot more before. I'm now kind of a constant guy, but mainly because of the simplicity. I just like kind of having a fixed meal or percent of calories, whatever, each day. But I like the cyclic approach. It does give you like that day of of trying something different, so you're not I guess stuck on one type of food. Um,
Yeah, it's nice, but you don't have to, like I said before, I'm not telling people you have to go cyclic. And I got a lot of people who are negative and say, oh, you don't need carbs, this and that. But if they were to walk a day in my shoes, or a few weeks in my shoes, I think they would feel differently because of the type of activity that I do. And to note on that, I have seen a lot of people who have been zero carb or completely carnivore for a while, who have tried to dial up the intensity and said, hey, let me add some honey and berries into here. And I know there's people that haven't as well. We're all a little bit different genetically. But I just wanted to say that either approach is fine. You got to find what works best for you, whether that's having a carb up, having no carb up, or eating a different way than we do. But eating whole natural foods. There's a lot of healthy ways to go about it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I agree. Right? It's whatever gets you at the gym, whatever keeps you going at the gym, whatever keeps your performance, so you don't get demotivated or too sore or unable to perform the day of the gym. Um, so some people like to twist that cyclic approach with junk foods. Obviously, that's if it doesn't work out, that's not the right strategy for you. But yeah, it's all about keeping you in the game, performing better each day. But yeah, 3 workouts a week, super intense. It's probably like an hour and a half, probably of solid full body workouts.
So I'm between 60 and 90 minutes. The programs I put together for people have them in and out of the gym in 60 minutes or less. With
Mm.
me, they've gotten a little bit longer lately because I've been warming up a little bit more as weights have gotten heavier. I just want to make sure that my body's in prime condition when I get under the bar. And I've probably been adding in a little bit too much accessory work, if I'm going to be completely honest. You get to a point where you want to make your traps bigger, your biceps bigger or something, and you start adding in some accessory work, and then you don't know when to take it off, and then you say, hey, let me add some accessory work on top of the accessory work, and then you got to dial back down from there. So my weightlifting sessions have gotten a little longer, and it will come time for me to dial it back where I'm in and out in 60 minutes as I was before. But yeah, usually there the 60 to 90 minute range is pretty good. If I looked at what I lifted today, I think from my first working set to the time I was done was about an hour 15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's a solid session. And I'm guessing at your intensity level, those are not easy an hour and 15 minutes. Um, Especially if you're doing it 3 times a week, with a potential fourth day a week. Which is interesting, right? If you're not doing that fourth day, you actually perform stronger on your first 3 days, right?
Yeah,
So it tells you a lot about recovery, intensity, and recovery.
it does, So this past weekend, could I have done a fourth day? Yeah. Should I have? Nah. So I made myself sit out of the gym, and I really focused on on recovery and, spending time with my wife and my son and doing other things that are important because, we're all in the gym to live our best life and be healthy. So we don't want to let that ultimately overpower our lives. So we got to be smart about it.
Yeah, yeah. That's beautifully put. We all go to the gym to live our best lives. We don't live to go to the gym.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I think people sometimes need reminding, right? People will get caught in these loops. How do I optimize everything, right? They feel like they're missing the one thing for their nutrition, they're missing the one thing for their workouts. What they're doing is not working, but it's like, hey, sometimes you just gotta stay consistent, like, and stop searching for other things.
Exactly. You see the optimize everything approach, even though well intentioned, sometimes can lead to being a little bit too polar.
A little too
Yeah,
polar.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we crossed the hour mark. I'm sure Zach is a busy guy. He's got stuff to do. How are you doing on time, Zach?
If you want a few more minutes, I can give you a few more. So yeah, just whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just,
So I want to ask you this question just so we get you on record. Why are deadlifts overrated?
Wow, why are deadlifts overrated? That's actually a great question to end on. All right, so I will preface this with I love deadlifts. I do conventional deadlifts, I do trap bar deadlifts, I do Romanian deadlifts. The reason I think deadlifts are overrated is that far too many people have become over obsessed with deadlifts and they have neglected their other lifts for their preference of deadlifts. And this sets people up for injury. And I wish no harm on anybody, and I don't want to see anybody injured. So when people are overemphasizing deadlift and taking away from other lifts, that's where things get dangerous. Now, why do people get over obsessed with deadlift? Easy. It's the easiest lift to lift the most weight on. So it makes people feel amazing, like, oh, I'm lifting all this weight. And that's great. You want to do what makes you feel amazing. But just like I cut that fourth day out this past week that I didn't need to go to the gym, I knew how to prioritize my health. People need to prioritize, their health and not risk injury by being over obsessed with the amount of weight that they can do on the deadlift. I have had, a lot of friends and I've met a lot of people in the gym who have injured their backs because they were trying to deadlift as much as they possibly could. And it's a horrible, horrible thing to see. I've seen friends that have gotten really into lifting, overemphasize the deadlift, hurt their back, and were out for months, and then never got back on track. And that really pains me to see people go through that. So I want to help people to avoid that. Another thing I think is, well, I know it's because of my perspective that I'm blessed to have as a former athlete. In the gym, as football players, we weren't in there trying to deadlift as much as we possibly could. We were more focused on squat than anything. And all the big, guys I knew on the team that, had big squats and hadn't deadlifted forever could go hit the deadlift on the rare occasion we do conventional deads and blow, people out of the water. We're extremely strong on it. If you focus on your squat, you're going to have a great deadlift. And we also focus on trap bar deadlifts, which, are a lot better a lot of times for athletes, unless you're competing directly in the deadlift. And for that matter, they're a lot better for, a lot of the regular population as well. So that's why I think deadlifts are overrated, is because the majority of people put too much emphasis on them. Now I know there's a lot of people out there that are very well versed in lifting and they correctly rate the deadlift, and great for them. But as a whole, people do overrate it with that overemphasis. And I'm just making a point and hoping I can lead people away from injury. So I hope nobody misconstrues that, as I know they often do. And I post myself deadlifting all the time to let people know that I am in fact a fan.
Awesome response. Awesome response. Yeah, it's all about social media, IG points, whatever. Show someone do a rep, 500 pounds. Wow, beast. What they don't show is like all the people that injured themselves just trying to reach that number, no matter what. It's so easy to hurt yourself if your technique is not down.
Mm-hmm.
Technique needs to be on point.
Yeah. I will say that
Especially.
happened to me. Yeah. I did
Yeah.
pull my back deadlifting, and I wasn't even like hitting my max. Like I was just warming up to my max. Something happened along the way, and man, I couldn't bend over. It hurt to walk like for a few days after. But then ever since, I just switched to like trap bar deadlift, and I've kind of stayed in my safe zone as far as deadlifts go. But definitely, lots of responsibility comes with great power, right? Great power demands great responsibility, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, awesome answer, and I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Zach, thank you so much for making the time to come in on our platform, elaborating your views for your presidential run. We're very excited to see what's coming down the line for you in the next few months, and we'll try to get behind you and support you. We need a Jack president, guys. So anyone who's watching this, listening to this, make sure you go hit up Zach on the social medias. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Zack Strength. And then I'm on Facebook under my real name. That's Zach Kushner, Kusnir. There's the blue tick mark there, so you know which one's the right one. But generally, I'm most active on Twitter, so that's the best place to interact with me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank-
and Zach does. You do consulting and you sell programs. If you want to plug anything.
Everything I do is organic, so I don't really want to plug. But if anyone's interested, zackstrength.com. I got some resources there, some cheap lifting and nutrition guides, some consultations, whatever. Feel free to hit me up online, and anyone, and I'll talk with you, help you out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Zach. And thanks so much, everyone. Again, go follow Zach, like and subscribe to this channel too. And thank you, everyone, for watching and for tuning in. Till next time.
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure. And to everybody watching, I wish all of you the best of health, happiness, and of course, many, many gains.
Many
Thank
gains.
you.
Let's go.
Thank you.